I'm trying to figure out why it is that people feel the need to have every little detail figured out before they get started in something. When I think about going on a road trip, for instance, I probably know the general direction. I know that I'm gonna be heading west or I'm gonna be heading east. And especially if I'm in a rush, I'm gonna get started, I'm gonna drive towards the interstate while I let someone else in the car pull up the directions. Because people never pull up directions while they're driving. And so we know where we need to get to. We know that we're going to a relative's house or a friend's house. And maybe you already know the way. You've been there before, you know the route you need to take, but you just need a little guidance to reassure you. You need a little guidance to just keep you on track. But if you've never been there, you really do need that guidance along the way to make sure that you're going in the right direction still. And maybe you've been driving on an interstate before where there's a pretty bad accident and your Google Maps or your Apple Maps, whatever you use, actually routes you off of the interstate to avoid it. I think that's why we need to be adaptable along our process, because maybe we planned on going one direction, but there's something preventing us from going that direction. Or it's just more efficient to go around that obstacle than to try to go past it. And this is probably where this analogy breaks down a little bit. Say you're heading to your aunt's house in Connecticut, and you get a call from her while you're on your way driving to her house, and she says, "Oh, I just moved to New York City." So technically, who you're going to see is not changing. And you're even going to her house, so maybe even the destination isn't changing, but the location of that is. And I think a lot of times, especially when we're talking about these kinds of digital platforms and making a living on digital things, these things change so rapidly and we change so rapidly that sometimes you can be going in one direction and think you know where you want to be, and maybe traveling on that road changes you a little bit. It kind of refines that desire of where you're actually heading, and you kind of adapt that a little bit. You decide, maybe I don't want to be the kind of person who makes a vlog every single day, or someone who puts their personality out there, who's selling their personality. I want to be someone who can build a business and bring other people into it and not lose a lot of the support I have from my audience because it's no longer me. And it's important to think thoroughly about those things, because you don't want to just be flippant. You don't want to just follow whatever desire you have that week. This week I want to be a video producer, and next week I want to be an esports announcer, or I want to be someone who competes at esports. And then the next week you want to have a show that you pitch to Netflix. And that's much different than focusing on a YouTube channel for 2 years and then maybe going back to it and saying, I still want to pursue a little bit of this YouTube channel, but I want to go back and I want to focus more on making content for actual clients. And that would be a bit of a pivot, but you wouldn't have to turn completely around and pass home on your way in the opposite direction. I think that those kinds of small career pivots can be really good. You're still kind of heading in the general direction, but maybe the final destination looks a little bit different than you thought that it did a couple of years ago. Or in the case of my analogy, you're still heading to your aunt's house, but your aunt's house is just in a different location now. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't do career pivots as well. Maybe you went to college for something that you don't feel super connected to anymore, or you spend a couple years working in that field only to find out that that isn't what you're truly passionate about. But the key there seems to be questioning whether or not it's worth breaking down all of the momentum that you have going for you in that direction. Maybe you've been building something for a while. Is it worth it to you to completely abandon that and leave it behind and head a different direction? And for a lot of people in a lot of situations, it definitely is. And I would say that's a really safe bet. You can go ahead and follow your passions, follow where you want to get to in life, and just change direction. I don't know about you, but I get super frustrated when I have to turn around. I missed a turn maybe, or I realized I was heading in the wrong direction, and I have to do a U-turn and head back the other way. And I think that's how a lot of people think about it when they change their career path. But I really think that we don't need to beat ourselves up for having to do a simple U-turn. We don't need to beat ourselves up for realizing maybe we've been going in the wrong direction for a little while. Certainly that is a minor inconvenience, and it's going to put our arrival time a little bit further behind. But really, that's not a huge deal. It's not as big of a deal as you probably think it is. Yeah, sure, life is short, but if you've ever been on a trip and you left later than you wanted to, and just the whole time you're in the car, you know, for 10 hours, you're driving and you just are constantly thinking about how, man, I should have just left earlier. I'm gonna be late, and there's literally nothing you can do about it. You can only drive so fast. Even if you speed a little bit, you're not gonna get there much quicker. You're not gonna make up the time for leaving late. So it's really not helpful to beat yourself up over leaving late rather than just accepting it as what it is. And it's just a part of that trip that you're on. You're still gonna get there. It's just a little bit later. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.